So in this lecture, I'll be talking about the line height property. So how do you define the line height property? We just go line height. So line height, like so, and then we had a value here. And that's how that works. But before I do that, I actually just want to make sure that this font is really large. So I can just say font size here. Font size, something like 30 pixels will be sufficient. 30 pixels. And I just want to add a border, just so it's easier to see. So border, let's just make it 2 pixels. Let's make it black. Let's make it a solid border. So, and there you go. So there we have it. And now we have our line height value. Now value can be absolute or it can be relative. So relative value will be your percentages or your multipliers. So for example, if I say 1 here, it would just be 1 times the font size. So the line height will be, or it will be default. So if I go 1.2, it'd be 1.2 times the font size. So the line height here will be 1.2 times the font size. So it's 1.2 times, and if I make it twice, it will be twice as much. So 2 times will be twice as much. So let me just add more lines. I'm just going to copy all these lines, the exact same text, and just paste it a bunch of times. Okay, maybe it's here, but for demonstration purposes, this should work. So that's how that works. And if I want to make it 3 times, I could also use percentages. So if I say 120%, certainly it's going to be 120%. It's the same thing as saying 1.2, you're just making it 120% bigger than 30 pixels. But what if I wanted to make it half of 30 pixels? Let's just see what happens here. So I'm just going to make it 50%. So 50% means half. In a similar fashion, 50% can also mean 0.5. In relative units, 0.5. There we go. So 0.5, so nothing changes. How about 0.2, which is smaller now? And we notice that the text is now more bundled together. In a similar fashion, I could also just make it absolute value. So I could just make it 30 pixels, 32 pixels. But why would you want to use relative values to absolute values? Well, for more responsive design. So for example, when you're doing for mobile, or you wanted to respond, say for example, the screen size changes, you want to make sure that it uses relative values so it renders correctly to different screen sizes. So that's how line height works. And I just gave a visual demonstration. So thank you very much.